today's show.
We break down LeBron and Wade's final game against each other and discuss the Kings' Garden comments.
Our farewell tours overkill. Should the Lakers trade for Ariza? Can Nick Young's swag help the Nuggets?
And we debate which team is most in need of a win tonight on NBA TV.
It's Tuesday, December 11th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to The Starters. I'm Jay Skeets, that's Tass Mellis, that's the Aussie Lee Ellis, and over yonder, well, that's the bearded one, that's Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hey-yo! TK, what's up?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at #TheStarters. And guys, if you were wondering if Joel Embiid was sick during last night's 76ers game, the answer apparently is yes, very sick.
I have migraine and diarrhea.
Wow.
Yeah, he was asked if he had a migraine, so I can understand why this came up, but still a bit too much information. But it brings us to today's question. What is the biggest NBA overshare that you can remember? For instance, how about the time that Manu Ginobili took a knee down below and then let slip that he might be down a Hibbert?
Have you ever heard the expression in the States of, I give my left?
I gave my right one. I gave it all. I gave my right one for this person. I can say it. I can really say it.
Shout out to John Kruk. We want to hear from you, so hit us up on Twitter and let us know what's the NBA's biggest overshare. Send us your best tweets to #TheStarters. We'll hear from you a little bit later.
All right, get your tweets in. On tonight's show, we've got the up-down report. We got a little fill-in-the-blank fun. We got a very solid play, but we start with a little true or false, the Last Dance edition. TK, take it away.
One last dance, we're gonna celebrate. That's right, Dwayne Wade and LeBron James faced off for likely the last time last night as Wade is set to retire at the end of the season. LeBron went for 28, 9, and 12. Wade put up 15 and 10 assists, and the two of them guarded each other in the final few possessions of the Lakers' win. True or false? LeBron and Wade's final game delivered.
It's true. It wasn't storybook, but it delivered in the end. As Trey mentioned, they guarded each other down the stretch. That's all we needed to see.
Yep.
We needed to see one guy shoot the ball for the win, and Dwayne Wade shot it for the tie here. I wish he took a second and shot a little bit more in control after he turned around. I think Bron guarded him extremely well for that first pump, and then he should have just waited. Bron wasn't going to block his shot, is what I'm getting at.
He was going to let him have it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You might be right.
Not the first attempt. Wade, I'm going to stop you. But the second attempt, he could have, instead of spinning wildly out of control, he could have just chilled.
He still had time as well to pass it and maybe get it back, but maybe didn't know that at the time. But it was a nice way to end. And their season series against each other, LeBron 16, Dwayne 15, they both knew that going
I like
in.
that.
So I think that's a nice way to end it. But funny thing about these two, their career for me is there was never any animosity. They never had a moment where, because they came in the league together and they played against each other, but never in the playoffs. Then they joined up and became teammates. Then they went their own separate ways, but there was no ugly breakup, kind of like a Westbrook and Durant. Sure. It was like, you know what, we had our time and now we're going our separate ways. And then they came back together. So it's sort of almost lacking that little bit of tension in their relationship. It was like, oh, that's kind of perfect. They were friends and they won and they're still buds.
Yeah, the tension, as you said, was who comes out on top of this head-to-head series. And is it all that important that LeBron has one more win than Wade? Maybe in 30 years when they're talking about it over a glass of wine, I guess. But yeah, this sort of delivered in the sense that it was a close game. Shout out to Justice Winslow for having a great game for the Heat, keeping it close, Kuzma for the Lakers. But we got that little one-on-one at the end. And then, you know, it was really cool. And we're going to get into the jersey swapping and all that. But the moment that they shared in front of thousands of cameras and millions of people watching, a personal moment between the two, I guess, if you want to call it personal. But it was neat that they were taking the time to either put on the show or just straight up address it. I mean, it was cool, especially for a game here in December. You know, it's funny, Wade still has a lot of basketball still to play. Yeah. But it felt like at times this was Dwayne Wade's last game. But no, he's still got games to play, and we'll see something special, I'm sure, in Miami come the end of the season. But yeah, I think it did deliver overall. And I think it was perfectly hyped as well. We didn't go overboard heading into the game. We were excited for the game, excited for the moment, but it wasn't crazy stuff, and that's why it was sort of worked out.
Yeah, it was a good fourth quarter to pay $1.99 for. Now that you can pay for quarters, that would have been well worth it.
All right. Next one here.
Last night's flash dance wasn't without a little intrigue because as soon as the game ended, LeBron and Wade were congratulating each other, and that's when LeBron mentioned a certain New York location. That's right, it's only in here or the Garden. True or false? LeBron almost signed with the Knicks.
True.
The New York Knicks.
No, completely false. He was never really going to go there. I mean, 2010 was probably the most likely time he was going to go, but the Knicks, I think more the dysfunction within the franchise kind of turned LeBron off. I don't think he wanted to go there to go to a situation where it was chaotic and a mess, whereas the other option was to stay in Cleveland or go to Miami. And he had a chance to go to Miami and play with people he knew, he'd played with in Team USA and he trusted. And the organisation with Pat Riley and Mickey Harrison there just had a better reputation for taking care of players. Sure. New York's kind of been it's been a dysfunctional franchise for so long now, and I don't think LeBron felt that was his best chance to win, unless they were to somehow get another talent, which seemed unlikely at the time.
Well, let me ask you this then, a bonus true or false here. True or false, LeBron was taking a shot then there at the Knicks in what he said to Wade last night? Or was he just saying, you know, cool, awesome venue, like Staples, like MSG, that this was our last game against each other? Or was it a subtle or not so subtle little shot at the Knicks? Maybe even Phil Jackson and his whole posse comments way back in the day. What do you think of that?
Well, you said the game wasn't overhyped. I'm not so sure about that, but this storyline here, this is overhyped. This is crazy.
This is nothing?
That articles were written about his comment that he said the word garden.
Right.
That we would end. He was just basically saying there's two extremely special places in the NBA, and that's LA or Madison Square Garden. That's all he was saying. There's no way, with all the dysfunction that was happening in the Knicks organization, that he was going to sign there.
You know what?
There's just no way.
You know what? We talked about it on the podcast. I was with you at first. You know, it's him just pointing out that those markets, those fan bases, it's just special. It makes sense. I've completely changed my tune. I've completely changed my tune, and here's why. LeBron is the most self-aware superstar maybe we've ever seen. And that is why 99% of the time we see LeBron talking on the court after games. He's doing this. He's got the towel. He's covering up like this, so we can't see what he's saying. He wanted everyone to see, all the thousands of cameras to see this comment, that I'm now completely convinced that him and Wade, when they were having their glass of wine last night, they're like, here's what we're going to do, all right? I'm going to say, hey, man, thanks for coming to Staples Center. Thanks for playing this game here. And then you can come back with the Knicks. I think they all set it all up. I think it was all a show. It's incredible.
Yeah, he was going to play in James Dolan's band. He was going to be the lead singer for James Dolan's band in New York. No chance.
But is that not, I mean, I'm exaggerating, but again, they usually do sort of.
No.
Yeah, but they had to keep it open the way they set this game up. And he wasn't really prepared for that comment. Wade set him up with
maybe.
Yeah, he wasn't that 100% ready for the media LeBron right there.
Well, it's just shocking because he always is. But it's amazing the Knicks fans can take a loss on a night they're not even playing, because that is a gut punch to Knicks fans going, oh, what if? Was he saying he was going to come here? Oh my God, this could have been us.
Yeah, well, it would have been cool if he did go there and won a championship for New York. That would have been awesome. That would have probably cemented his place as the greatest of all time if he turned that franchise around at the time. But
well, now Kevin Durant can go and try to do it.
Yeah, but we saw some awesome performances from LeBron and Wade both in Madison Square Garden just to torment their fans.
Have you ever been to Madison Square
Garden? I have.
It's
I've been ejected from
environment.
Madison Square Garden.
I forgot about that. All right. Final one here, Trey.
All right, this is season 16 for Dwayne Wade, as he has said that he's going to be calling it quits at the end of the year. He's been trading jerseys with opponents all season long. He got a tribute video at last night's game in LA. He even has his own Twitter emoji for his One Last Dance hashtag. True or false? Farewell seasons are overkill.
False.
I think nothing wrong with fans saying goodbye, but for 82 games, each and every game, we don't need to say goodbye. As you said, it felt like it was his last game out there. Why not every franchise, every organization says their goodbyes? So 30 goodbyes. 30 times a year, I think. We don't have to. He is going to say goodbye to the Knicks fans multiple times. Every single organization in the Eastern Conference, at least. When you play there your last time, that's your goodbye.
I got no problem though with the jersey swap.
No,
and he hasn't done it every single time. Maybe it feels like it, but he's done it a number of times with McCollum and Crawford and stuff like that. But
he's picking his spots.
I think that's a cool thing. There's no, they gave them the little video tribute last night. It was like 90 seconds long during a timeout. Again, totally fine. I think you're cool with that.
I love video tributes.
Yeah, well there you go. And then there's no ceremonies going on here until the Heat do it on the final night when he plays there. Then but there's no gifts and stuff like that. I got no problem with this type of farewell.
It's up to the organisations to determine how much they want to celebrate when he's there. And if they want to give him a tribute video, great. If not, it's like, who cares? It's up to them.
This has been on a lesser scale than Kobe's. Kobe's was...
Well, yeah.
That was every day, every night.
Kobe at one point told other teams, stop doing ceremonies and stop giving me gifts. He ended up doing that at one point.
He said that. He said
Oh, come on, Lee. All
I
right.
say the same thing at Christmas. I don't mean it, Mom. Fill the stocking.
Give me the gifts. Right into the up-down report. First one, guys, according to ESPN's Woj, the Lakers are trying to trade for veteran Suns forward Trevor Ariza. The trade could include Kentavious Caldwell-Pope going to possibly a third team, with Phoenix reportedly asking for a point guard and a draft asset in return. Now, neither of these guys can be traded until December 15th, Ariza or KCP, but are you up or down on the Lakers trying to acquire a guy like Trevor Ariza?
Go get him.
Go get him.
Go
Thumbs
get
up
him.
across
Look
the
at
board.
these.
Hard to see what the downside is for the Lakers. If it cost them KCP and maybe some sort of future second-round pick or something like that, do it. Because the Lakers, this is not just a season where they just want to do okay. They really want to contend. And the West outside of the Warriors is kind of open right now. Ariza's a veteran. He's been there. He's won a championship. They know what they're getting. Why wouldn't you go get him if he's available?
I just like the idea of a LeBron teammate and James Jones, who went to 1,000,000 finals with him, finally getting a job in a front office, and he just keeps hooking LeBron up with pieces that the team needs to get a little bit better and maybe make another finals. It's the perfect plan. And honestly, Trevor Ariza would fit perfect. Like Zach Lowe over at ESPN said, you never worry about him. When he's on your team, he'll make enough threes and guard his guy. Perfect.
So will James Jones get a ring if the Lakers go on?
Oh, wow.
Ooh, covert ring. I think it's it. Yeah, I'm up on that too.
You like it?
Yeah, he's on his own. He doesn't make them a championship contender, but they plan on getting another star. And then alongside a star, he is absolutely perfect. He is the guy you don't worry about, and he makes winning teams good, but it's not going to make a big difference on a Phoenix Suns team. He has to play with great players around him.
All right, next one. The Denver Nuggets signed Nick Young on Monday. Financial terms were not disclosed, but the Nuggets said they signed Swaggy P to the injury hardship relief exception, which is granted by the NBA. The injury bug has been brutal to Denver's starters. They're currently without Will Barton, Gary Harris, and Paul Millsap. Guys, are you up or down on the Nuggets signing Swaggy P? Okay. I thought we were
agreeable guys today.
I thought we were going to get a thumbs down on this one.
NBA champion, Nick Young.
True.
I mean,
Fair
look,
enough.
he played a role in Golden State, and he played that pretty well. And right now, the Nuggets just need shooting, and they need body. They need some experience, and he fits that bill. I just wonder, though, is Swag kind of out right now? Should he become drip?
Oh, Drippy P?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound good, Lee.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Sounds like Grandpa's got a problem.
But it's hard to stop thinking about that once it's come out of your mouth.
Drippy P. Let's move on.
Flexi P.
You think he can help this team, though?
I mean, regardless of Nick Young, he isn't the story here. The story is that they're injured,
Right.
and that's the issue. But even with those guys out, even with Paul Millsap and Gary Harris out, Will Barton can step up as he comes back really soon,
Should be soon.
along with Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray to be 25-point guys. And those are the guys that have to step up and score a lot. I think it's on Nikola Jokic. He owes this team one for having a couple weeks back there where earlier in the season where he didn't score a ton, didn't shoot a ton.
Yeah.
And he had a great game on Monday against Memphis where he scored a lot, he rebounded a lot. This is his little stretch here where Nikola's got to score a lot.
Got to take over. Yeah. All right, final one. This is a fun one. On a recent episode of Inside the Green Room podcast, newish Raptors guard Danny Green shared his thoughts on Canada's bagged milk.
It's borderline a pain in the to pour milk in a bag. You have to buy your own container. I was almost late today to practice because of going to the store, little container store, find some containers to put my milk from out of this bag in containers. Don't know who we need to talk to, but that needs to change.
Oh boy, interesting one. Are you up or down on bagged milk? You guys all lived in Canada?
What's
Whoa, the one true Canadian says no problem with it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. First of all, it's not all over Canada.
Yeah,
it's
that's a good
really
point.
an
That's a good
Ontario
point. That's a
thing.
good point.
But this is bagged milk. You throw it in a plastic container, you snip off the tops, and there you got it. Instead of buying a carton each and every time, how much waste is a carton that you buy each and every time? You might say, oh, you can recycle it. Yeah, do people recycle? No, they don't. Do you have proper recycling?
Thumbs up on recycling. It's good for the environment.
Listen, here in Turner Broadcast Studios, not to call out Turner Services, but we have blue bins. Do those get recycled? Doubt it. We got to do something about that,
so
Turner.
what's your problem?
No, Danny Green's right. It is a pain in the backside because sometimes when you're transferring it into that little jug and towards the end of it, when you pull it out, you spill it, it goes everywhere. And furthermore,
You're not doing it right.
Danny Green said he was almost late to practice. He might have got a fine. He might might have been suspended by the team. This might have cost him a
All over some
fortune
milk.
because of bagged milk.
How long has he been in Canada that he's just
Not long
sharing this
enough.
now? That he
Yeah.
didn't have the container for the milk. It's the first thing
He
you
just
get.
got there.
Yeah.
That's one of the toughest
didn't
things
just
to get
get there.
That's one of the toughest things to get used to when you move to Canada. No doubt is the bag milk. That first pour, you got a little overflow of the bag, and so you cut your snip, you go for the dip, and it spills everywhere. It's a real drippy piece situation.
All right, that's it from you guys. Thumbs up or thumbs down on bagged milk. We know Danny Green is down. Too bad we don't have a team in Vancouver, like you said, Tass. They don't have bagged milk out there.
Right.
Yeah.
They'd be fine.
It'd be all right. Okay, when we come back, fill in the blank fun.
Drink. Cow.
Hey, that fun, quirky music means it's time for fill in the blank. Let's go.
Let's have fun.
Shout out to Ernie Banks. We got 2 bangers for tonight's NBA TV doubleheader. Blazers Rockets gets things started here on the network at 8 p.m. Eastern. They're followed by Raptors Clippers at 10:30. It's going to be a long night, so stock up on some energy and fill in the blank. The team most in need of a win tonight is blank.
I think it's the Blazers. They were second in the conference only a few weeks ago. Now they're 7th. They have won a couple in a row, but I'm worried for them for teams like the Jazz, the Pelicans, the Rockets, even the Spurs and the Wolves. They're on the outside of the playoffs looking in at the Blazers at the 7th spot, ready to snatch up that spot. Like the old saying goes, a loss in December is like a loss in April. You can't be losing these games. They've just fallen off a lot. The West is extremely tough. What happens to these Blazers if they miss the playoffs? This team could blow up, and they've got to start winning these games now.
Well, I'm going with their opponent tonight, the Rockets. They have to get their season back on track here because they've had a few false starts, and it's kind of almost desperation time for them. I think they will still make the playoffs, but this is their championship window season right now. They have to contend. This is not just let's make the playoffs and build towards something. Chris Paul's getting a little bit older. We're starting to see some sort of decline in his game. The Rockets just have to string a few wins together here to show they are still an elite team in the West.
Good picks. I'm going to go with the Raptors, though, for a couple of reasons. I mean, I could have put Lowry, just Lowry, because I'd like to see what we see from Kyle Lowry if he plays in this game. They could be without Kawhi Leonard. He's got to get out of the shooting slump. I mean, he's 3 for 25 from three-point range in December. It's embarrassing. Raps have a tough stretch of games coming up here after this one tonight in LA. Golden State, Portland, and Denver all on the road. And the other reason, got to get this one for Coach Nick Nurse. His mother unfortunately passed away yesterday. He was home in Iowa with his family, but is reportedly going to be there coaching this team tonight. Do it for Coach Nurse. Our condolences, of course, to him and his family. But yeah, Raps got to get this one. It's a big one with this stretch coming up here. Next one, Trey.
Things looked okay for the Bulls last night as they led by 11 at halftime against the Kings, but then the second half happened and the Bulls were outscored by 30 in the half as they had more turnovers than made shots. That left one unnamed King to remark, another 2.5-hour practice for them tomorrow. Fill in the blank. The Kings making fun of the Bulls is blank.
Ooh, okay, go ahead.
Fair game. I mean, no one feels sorry
Fair
for...
dinkum.
Fair dinkum, yeah, it's fair. No one feels sorry for anybody else in the NBA. It's such a tough business that you have to go out and win. And when a team is down, you've got to basically keep them down. And the Kings know what it's like to be humiliated like the Bulls are right now. Kings had a very, very impressive win, down big in that first half, came back and won. They don't care. They want the Bulls to suffer as long as they can.
I went with a new low, same sort of idea here. But this is like Carrot Top telling you you're not funny, or like Hoobastank telling you your band sucks or something like that. Like, this is bad. When the Kings are openly mocking you and, crushing you in the second half on your own floor and you got booed off again for the Bulls, that's bad. That's a new low. This has been a very bad couple of weeks here for the Chicago Bulls. This is Trey Kirby's nightmare right now.
Speaking of comedy. I was going to say, speaking of Carrot Top, comedy. Commenting on something topical, I mean, that's great stuff. That's glorious stuff. That's perfect Sacramento
They were reading
Kings.
the papers. They were watching the show.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah.
Final one here, Trey.
Where all my Sasquatch heads at? Yeah, buddy, we're talking conspiracy theories because Stephen Curry just told the Winging It podcast that he doesn't think people have really been to the moon and that the landing footage was faked. This, of course, comes nearly 2 years after Kyrie Irving said that he thinks the Earth is flat, something he eventually apologized for. Fill in the blank. The next hot NBA conspiracy theory is blank.
Mermaids are real.
Ooh,
Mermaids are real. First off, it's a big ocean. We don't really truly know what's down there. But here's the real reason why. Mermaids are going to start coming back into the discussion here because we got all these live action Disney remakes. Right, we've got Lion King and Dumbo and Mulan, I think, is coming. At some point, we're going to get a Little Mermaid live-action remake. You know, mermaids will be back in the mix. People are going to believe they're really real.
Mine is that Dwayne Wade never played for any other team other than the Heat. Started his career in Miami. He went to the Bulls, didn't work out. He went to the Cavs, remember? And then he got traded back to Miami, and now he's having his swan song in Miami. We're only going to remember him as a one-team guy.
Is it sort of like Iverson? Are we going to do that with Iverson
Somewhat,
a little bit?
Yeah.
He only played for the Sixers? Good one.
I wrote alien communication because it's already happening. It's not a conspiracy.
Yeah, what do you know, man?
Is it a conspiracy?
We gotta take a break. Let's hear from you guys. Fill in the blank on Twitter. Hashtag the starters. What's the next hot NBA conspiracy theory? When we come back, Lely's very solid play. Here's a conspiracy. He doesn't pick the solid plays. He picks the sexiest one. We asked you, what's the biggest NBA overshare? You hit us up on Twitter, hashtag the starters.
Hurricane's not even laughing over it.
Some good suggestions. Jake says, when Rob Hennigan posted the whiteboard, you gotta hoard your boards. Tyler says, easy, one simple Tommy Heinsohn quote. I took a look at Baines in the shower. He looks like all of Australia. He's really put together. That was awkward. My favorite answer from Sam, who says, the Leapy.
Yeah.
Go listen to our December 8th, 2017 podcast. Can't believe we didn't celebrate the 1-year anniversary.
Oh, yeah. Lee describes what the Leapy is. We're not getting into it right here.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's an AC Slater move.
Yes, that's right. Ooh, tonight's pick and play. It's the Raps and Clippers. The Clippers. The Clippers are taking the Clippers in a shocking twist. They're backing themselves. It's like Pete Rose, sort of. Lee's got the Clips, and everybody else has the Raps. Good luck, y'all. Okay, very solid play.
Yes, we're going out to Phoenix, and it's one from the Clippers. And Skeetsy, you were right in what you were saying before that I don't pick the very solid play.
The very solid play picks you.
Oh, yeah,
You know, that's a beautiful one. That's what I call a very solid play.
Picks you in like 3 seconds. All right, the Drop Podcast, it's up because it was Tuesday. We recorded it. Go download that. We had a lot of fun, talked about some of the stuff we got into here on tonight's show and a whole lot more. We got time, I think, for a fan sign here, Lee.
Yeah, and it's Master Chief who's taken the lead in his race with the serial sign Centenera. This is his 4th sign of the year.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to point something out, Lee.
Yeah.
Have you noticed every time he sends in a sign, it's the same sign, and the middle is like a whiteboard?
That's all right. They're different. Look, they got different words on there, different text.
No.
It is.
No.
Look
Yeah,
at the difference.
I know.
It's
Hold
exactly
on.
the same.
Hold on.
It
That's
says
not
take note.
making a different sign.
Hey, it's being creative.
I don't know. I think Master Chief is Master
It's like we
Cheater.
do fill in the
Master
blank. We
Cheater.
don't use the same answers, do we? We erase them.
And
We
he's
come up
always
with
wearing
new
the
ones.
same hat. Change your hat,
It's
everyone.
more practical than creative, but
Yeah. What, you think it's fair? Fair dinkum?
It's not fair, Dink.
I didn't think so.
No,
Come on,
absolutely
Chief.
not. Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, we landed on the moon.
Embrace the night, people.
Jamario?